So what is cell? Here cell is nothing but the intersection of column as well as row. What is now? Here now returns system date and time from the date. So what is square root? That means it returns the square root of the number. After executing this function, what is the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but the date and time. Hello, hi, namaste. A warm welcome to my new session on spreadsheet. I'm Revati, faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the things what we had discussed in my previous session. In my previous session, we learned how I can able to format the text in the Excel sheet. So here to format the text in the Excel sheet, I'm going to have different options, like I can able to set the font style. Even I can able to set the font size. Even I can able to color, that is font color. Even I can able to make it center or make it left aligned or right aligned. Even I can write the text in bold or italic. Even I can able to draw the line, that is I can able to draw the line for particular text. These are the ascertaining options I'm going to get under formatting text. Then we had discussion regarding ribbon. So what is ribbon? Here ribbon is nothing but the organized commands. Then what are the commands are organized here? That is nothing but tab, group, and I'm going to have commands. Example for that is nothing but the home tag, insert the tag, format tag, data tag, or help tag. These are the example for tab. Then what is group? Here group includes some of the related tabs, that is some of the related options. For example, if I consider font group, under font group I'm going to have font style, font size, font coloring, font alignment, etc. So here I'm going to have certain commands under some specific group. So what is group here? And what is the name of the group? That is nothing but the font. Under font, I'm going to have certain commands like font style, font color or font size, font alignment, etc. Then we had discussion regarding how I can able to write the formula in the Excel sheet. That is, what are the Excel formulas? In Excel sheet, we can able to write user defined formula. Even I can able to use built-in formulas. In my previous session, we had discussed some of the different kinds of formulas I can able to apply on the worksheet. Along with that, we discussed some of the arithmetic operators meaning. That is nothing but plus, minus, forward slash and star. That is nothing but the asterisk. Along with that, we had discussion regarding how to create chart in the Excel sheet. That means what are the different steps I want to follow while creating charts in the Excel sheet. These are the certain topics we discussed in my previous session. But in today's session, we are going to learn what are the built-in functions I'm going to have in the Excel sheet and what are the arithmetic functions I'm going to have Along with that, we are going to study what are the different kinds of statistical functions I'm going to have. Instead of wasting much of time, directly moving on to the topic, that is built-in function. So here Excel sheet provides user-defined function and built-in function. For example, if I want to calculate the sum, I can use the built-in function sum, or I'm going to have summation. But user can able to write their own function, or user can able to write their own formula, that is they can able to specify the cell address. So what is A1? That's nothing but the cell address. I'm going to place the operator in between A and B. So here this is nothing but the cell address, and this is also nothing but the cell address. So what is cell? Here cell is nothing but the intersection of column as well as row. That is called cell. Now tell me, what are the different kinds of built-in functions or supported by the Excel sheet? That is nothing but the spreadsheet. Here at the beginning, I'm going to have day. So what is day? Suppose if I want to get the present day information, then it returns the day from the date. That means if I want to know the day, then where I will get? It is going to return the day from the date. So what is the syntax I'm going to have? That is, I'm going to have the function called day, and I'm going to specify the value. That is nothing but I'm going to pass the argument. So what is the argument here? That is, I'm going to specify which month, which day and year. Based on that, I can able to get the date. So here I'm going to specify the value, that is, I'm going to have the month, that is 1, and I'm going to have the date, it is 26, and year 2017. So when I supply these argument or input to the day function, I'm going to get the particular date. So that is nothing but the 26. So what is the date here? Date is nothing but 26. So here returns day from the date. So here I'm going to provide the input in the form of date. By that I'm going to get the output, that is nothing but the day. And what is the day here? 26th day. Now I'm going to have another built-in function used to find the month. So that is nothing but month. That returns the month from the date. Suppose if I want to extract only month from the given date, then I can have the function called month. So it returns the month from the date. Then what's the syntax I'm going to have? Once again, I'm going to have month function. So what is my function name? That is nothing but the month. And what is the argument I'm going to provide? That is nothing but the date. And it is in the form of month, day and year. So how I can able to provide the input? At the beginning, I'm going to specify the month, then I'm going to specify the date, then I'm going to specify the year. Consider the example here. So what is my function name? That is nothing but the month. And what is my input here? This is input is nothing but the argument. So here input is nothing but the argument. And what value I'm going to pass here? That is nothing but the date. So at the beginning, I'm going to have month. then I'm going to have date, and I'm going to have year. This is the input to this function. And what is the output from this function? I can expect that is nothing but the month. So what's the month here? It is first month. That is nothing but the January. Then I'm going to have another built-in function that is nothing but the year. So it returns year from the date. Consider the example here that I'm going to give the date. Now from that date, I want to extract the year. That can be done by using year function. So it returns years from the date. That means what is the value I can able to get here? That is the year. And from where I'm going to get? From the date. That means it's going to extract the year from the date. And what is the syntax I'm going to have here? That is nothing but I'm going to have year function, and I'm going to pass certain argument, or I'm going to pass certain input, and it is in the form of month, day and year. Dear student, just remember that it's in the form of month, day and year. But in general, how we are going to write? We are going to write day at the beginning, then we are going to use month, then we are going to use year. But in Excel sheet, how the syntax is? At the beginning, I'm going to have month, then day and then year. Now consider the example here. I'm going to have the year function, and what is the argument I'm going to pass here? That is nothing but the date. So here I'm going to pass the argument. At the beginning, I'm going to provide month, then I'm going to give the date, and I'm going to specify the year. And what is the output I'm going to get here? That is nothing but the year. That means it returns the year from the given date or specified date. Moving further, I'm going to have other function called weekday. That means it returns weekday from the date. That means whatever the input or argument I'm going to pass, from that it's going to return the particular weekday. So what it returns? It returns weekday from the date. Then what is the function I'm going to have here? That is nothing but the built-in function weekday, and I'm going to pass the argument. And what kind of argument I'm going to pass? That is nothing but, once again, I'm going to pass month, day and year. That is in the form of date. So how the dates are represented? That is in the form of month, then it is day, then it is year. So this is the input or argument to this function. Then consider the example here. I'm going to have the function called weekday. I'm going to have the function called weekday, and what I'm going to pass? Here I'm going to pass the date. So what is date here? That is nothing but 1/26/2017. So here 1 is nothing but the month and 26th is the date, and here I'm going to have the year. From that I'm going to get the weekday. So what is the weekday? That is the 5th day. So here 5th day is nothing but which day? If I consider from Monday to Sunday, then it is Friday. Suppose if I consider from Sunday to Saturday, then it is which day? Tuesday. Suppose if I consider working day from Monday Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. So what is the working day? That is Friday. So it is 5th is nothing but the Friday. That is the weekday. Then I'm going to have another special built-in function called today. So what is today? It returns the system date from the date. So what it returns? It returns system date from the date. Now consider the syntax here. So what is the syntax I'm going to have? That is today. So what is today? It is my built-in function and I'm not going to pass any argument or any input because it's going to take the input from the system date. So where it's going to get the input? It's going to get the input from the system date. Based on that, it's going to return the date. What is the system date? That is the output for this function. So where it's going to get the input? It's going to get the input from the system date and it is going to output what is the input date which have been written from the system date and that is the output to the user. So here it is the empty bracket. That means it indicates that it does not take any input or argument from the user and it directly going to take the input from the system time and it's going to process and it's going to return the output and that is the today's date. Moving further, I'm going to have another function called now. What is now? Here now returns system date and time from the date. So here now is responsible for returning the date as well as time from the date. And what is the syntax I'm going to have? That is, once again, I'm going to have the function called now and it won't take any input or any argument because it is going to receive the input from the system date and that is the input for the function now. And after executing this function, what is the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but the date and time. So what is the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but the date and time. So here this is the date and this is the time. And where we get these date and time, that is from the system date as well as from the system time. So this is the way you can able to use built-in functions in your Excel sheet. That means suppose if you want to display the current time, date and the particular day, particular month and particular year in your Excel sheet, then you can able to use these built-in functions. Moving further, I'm going to have other kind of function that is nothing but arithmetic functions. Suppose if I want to perform any kind of arithmetic functions, then I can able to use some of the built-in functions which is present in the Excel sheet or in the spreadsheet. At the beginning, I'm going to have ABS and I'm not going to pass any value. That means it does not hold any argument and it returns the absolute values of the number. That means suppose think that I have performed some operation. That means here I want to subtract 10 from 15. What is the answer I'm going to get? It is minus 5. Instead of writing minus 5, If I want to make it round figure, that is 5, I want to use the function ABS. So what is ABS? That is going to return the absolute value of the number. That is, number without a sign is called absolute number. Suppose if you want to display only the positive number and you don't want to display the negative number, to make it negative number, positive number, here I'm going to have the option called ABS. That is nothing but the absolute value. Here absolute value is nothing but the number without a sign. That means here think that I have 2 minus 5 minus 10. So these are the certain numbers I have. Now I want to make it positive number. Then how can I make it? With the help of ABS. That means I'm going to convert or write these negative numbers in terms of positive numbers. That can be achieved with the help of ABS. That is nothing but absolute number. That is nothing but number without a sign. Now consider the example here. Here I'm going to have the function called ABS, and dear student, to represent any function I'm going to use the parenthesis. So here what is my function name? That is ABS, and this parenthesis includes that this is the function. And which kind of function? It is built-in function. And what is the syntax here? That is, I'm going to have the keyword ABS. So what is ABS? That is nothing but the function name, and I'm going to pass the argument. And what kind of argument I'm going to pass? That is nothing but the numbers. So here I have the example, that is ABS of 5 minus 10. So in general, what is the output? It is minus 5, but I want the whole number. That is, I don't want to display the sign. So what is the output I'm going to get? That is minus 5. Now I want to display only the number, that is 5, that can be achieved with the help of ABS. That means numbers without a sign can be displayed with the help of ABS function. That is nothing but absolute function. Then I'm going to have square root function. So what is square root? That means it returns the square root of the number. Suppose if you want to find the square root of any given number, then that can be achieved with the help of square root function. Then what is the function name? Here it is nothing but SQRT, and what is my argument? That is nothing but input. Here it is number. So what I will do? I'm going to pass the number to the square root function. And what is the example I'm going to have? That is square root of 100. That means I want to find the square root of 100. What I will do? I'm going to place that number 100 inside the square root function. And what is the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but 10. So square root of 100 is nothing but 10. We know in general, but system cannot able to understand this. So what we will do? We are going to use the built-in function called square root, and I'm going to pass those value. And what's the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but the 10. Moving further, I'm going to have mod function. So what is mod function? What is the use of mod function? Why we require mod function? Consider the example that I have 10 and 5. Now, what this division function returns? It returns the quotient. But in certain case, I want the reminder. To get the remainder, I'm going to have the function called mod. So here it returns the remainder after number is divided by the divisor. That means, suppose whenever I required remainder, that time I'm going to use the function called mod. That means after performing division operation, we get the remainder. To get the remainder, I'm going to have the function called mod. Then what is the syntax I'm going to have here? That is nothing but I'm going to have mod function and I'm going to pass to value. That is nothing but the number is divided and divisor. That is divisible number and divisor. Then what is the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but the remainder. So if I consider this example, it is 3 and 5. So 3 ones are, it is 3, and what is the remainder? I'm going to get the value. 2 is my remainder, and what is 1? It is the quotient. To get the remainder value, I'm going to have the function called mod. Here mod returns the remainder. Moving further, I'm going to have the function called product. Suppose if I want to multiply two numbers, after multiplying two numbers, what I will get? I'll get the product. To get the product, I'm going to have the function called product. So this function multiplies all the numbers given as arguments and returns the product. So what is the syntax I'm going to have? That is nothing but, once again, I'm going to have the function name called product and I'm going to pass the argument. That means how many numbers I want to multiply. That is the input to this function called product. Then this is the example used to illustrate the function called product. So here I want to multiply 10 into 20. So what is the answer I'm going to get? That is 200. That is, after multiplying 10 and 20, I'm going to get the product called 200. Moving further, I'm going to have the function called summation. That is nothing but sum. That means to find the sum of given number, I have the built-in function called sum. What is the syntax here? That is nothing but I'm going to have the function name called sum and I'm going to pass the numbers. And this is the example used to illustrate the use of sum function. So what is function name? It is sum and I'm going to pass the value. So these are my cell address. So it is start adding from cell 1 to cell 3. So what is the answer I used to get? That is nothing but the 60. Think that your cell number A1 holds 10, cell number A2 holds 20 and your cell number A3 holds 30. After applying summation, you're going to get the output, that is 60. Moving further, I'm going to have some of the statistical functions. That means, suppose if you want to find the maximum number or minimum number or average, etc., to perform those kind of statistical operations, we are going to have the function called statistical function. And at the beginning, I'm going to have the function called max function. So it returns the maximum value from the range of cell. So it returns the maximum value from the given number. For example, consider that I have 10, 20, 30 and 40. And what is the maximum number I'm going to have here? That is nothing but the 40. And to get the maximum number or the greatest or greater number, I'm going to have the function called max, and I'm going to specify the range. So what is my function name? That is max. And what is my input? That is nothing but the range. So consider this example. Here I have max function and I'm going to specify the range. That is nothing but start from first cell to cell 3 and display the largest number. And here the answer is 30 because cell A holds 10, cell B holds 20 and cell A3 holds 30. If I consider 10, 20 and 30, what is the greater number I'm going to have? That is nothing but the 30, and this function returns 30. Moving further, I'm going to have min. So why I required min function? To get the minimum value or to get the lowest value from the given range. So it returns the minimum value from the range of shell. Then what is my function name? That is nothing but the min is my function name, and I'm going to pass the argument. That is nothing but the input value. So here I'm going to specify the range A1 to A3. Consider the example here. Think that A1 holds 10, A2 contains 20 and A3 contains 30. Out of these three values, which is the smallest value I'm going to have? That is nothing but the 10. Now, this min function returns the smallest or lowest value from the specified range. So, what is the answer? What is the output I'm going to get? That is nothing but the 10. Moving further, I'm going to have the average of a given number. To get the average, I'm going to have the function called average, and it returns the average value from the range of cell. So what is my function name? That is nothing but the average is my function name, and I'm going to specify the cell range. That is nothing but the starting cell, and where I want to stop, that is nothing but the ending cell. Then consider the example here, that is nothing but average. Then I'm going to have A1 to A3. Now consider the example that I'm going to have the average function, and what is the input I'm going to specify? That is the range. So this is my starting range and this is my ending range. Now what I will do, I'm going to consider certain value. That means think that A holds 30 and A2 holds 30 and A3 holds 30. So 30 plus 30 plus 30, it is 90. Now 90 divided by 3, it is nothing but 30. So what is the average I'm going to get here? That is nothing but the 30. So while specifying range, we want to specify the cell range. Then based on that, the average function is going to return the value. So how many values I'm going to specify here? That is 3, because my range starts from A1 to A3. So first it is going to add all 3 values, then it is going to divide sum of those values by total number of values, and that is the return or result from this function. So this function returns the average value from the range of cell. Dear student, in my today's session, we started with built-in function. Along with that, we discussed arithmetic function and statistical function. Now, tell me some of the example for built-in functions, that is nothing but month, day, date, now, etc. If I consider arithmetic function, then I'm going to have sum, ABS, then I'm going to have product, mod, etc. And if I consider some of these statistical functions like, so here the average function returns the average value from the range of cell. So dear student, in my today's session we learned how we can able to use built-in functions, arithmetic functions and statistical functions in our spreadsheet or in our worksheet. This is all about today's session. Let's meet in the next session with some more information about spreadsheet. Until then, keep learning and keep watching. Thank you.